This is the moment you waited for. Searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. Buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind.
At the end of the day, we're both dreamers and we want to shake and move and make a difference in the community, but we knew that we couldn't do that with just one job.
You have to reach for the sky.
He's a pretty engaging witness for a murder, you know, but she did not testify.
Before new recruits walk these hallways on their own, they get weeks of training to become a detention officer. Before new recruits walk these hallways on their own, they get weeks of training to become a detention officer. But what are they taught about punches to the head? We found nothing in writing, nothing in Harris County policies or training manuals that spell out the do's and don'ts of striking an inmate in the head.
You feel like you're a veteran?
Yes.
Have you always felt like that?
Yes.
We need to unite to make us strong.
We have to break through these barriers.
This experience has changed my life.
You have someone that recognizes my service, recognizes my sacrifice. What can we do with this to change the lives of women really?
You know, we women have come a long way.
Yes.
We have come a long way.
Female veterans have a gift. Don't hide that gift. Don't shy away. We've been invisible too long.
I had grown up as a tomboy and was really drawn to my masculinity. I was getting a lot of social pressure to be more feminine. Flirting with boys was expected, you know, and I could not have felt more uncomfortable. There was a song that came out around that time that was like, "You love me, but you don't know who I am." And I would, as cheesy as it is, I would play that song on repeat because that's just how I felt. I unfortunately hit the point where that performance started to become too much, and I thought about ending my life. That's when I made the decision to accept myself and to start to come out to some of my friends in high school. My dad found out without my knowledge. Him bringing this conversation up was all of my worst fears since I realized what was going on when I was 12. In hindsight, I don't know that that was entirely fair. When we're so afraid, it's hard to see those situations clearly. I don't think he even had a minute to understand what I was going through. So our conversation was not one of acceptance, but not the worst one either. He still told me that he loved me and wanted to help me work through it. And it's kind of where we ended.
Historically black colleges and universities are more than just homecoming, marching bands, and step shows.
In fact, right here at Prairie View A&M University, it is a direct result of Juneteenth.
But to get here, you must understand how HBCUs got started.
For 250 years, African Americans were denied the right to an education.
Tony Papa, who was over Associated Booking Corporation, the branch office there in Dallas, called me up. And he said, "I need to talk with you on business." I said, "Well, okay." So I went there to the office. And when I got there, he asked me almost immediately, who would I like to be with, Duke Ellington or Louis Armstrong? And I looked at him and right quick I said, Louis Armstrong. Well, I had already conversationed enough with all the different musicians that Duke Ellington didn't love to fly. Every time they went to Europe, they went by boat. And Louis Armstrong, it would be 7 with me. With Duke, it was 17. With Duke. I know the money got to be different.
She told me that there was about 300 to 350 female vocalists to audition for that position for the All-Stars. She received a call while she was working in Dallas that she not only received the position, but she needed to be in Houston for a plane ride. And of course, everybody knows it takes 3 to 4 hours from Dallas to Houston.
I was down that freeway like I had wings.
She's already recording. She's already played in Las Vegas, New York, all over Texas. She's done well. But when she joins Louis Armstrong's band, suddenly she is playing all over the world.
What did you hear about Jerry? The physical demands are so much. I mean, just with the amount of weight of a person, you never know who you're going to rescue.
Correct. All shapes, sizes, different temperatures and conditions. So with these suits, you don't breathe well, so you gotta stay hydrated. Sunscreen is a must, and try to at least stay somewhat fit.
Wow, what a day of swiftwater rescue training. These heroes are ready to act, but they're not the only heroes.
Our crew called him the Master. That was our nickname for him because he is such a talented person. He is so smart technically. He is so smart operationally. But on the flip side of that, he is so funny because it'll be quiet and then he'll just come out with a one-liner and we're like, wait, what did he just say? That was absolutely hilarious. And he's doing all these one-liners in English, which is, of course, is not his first language, but being able to operate so well in all the cultures that we deal with, he's just a master at everything he does.
I still wear a suit from Dress for Success every time I go to court. It's hanging in my office, my one left Dress for Success suit that fits me. And I literally wear it all the time because it's like the perfect black suit and it goes with everything. I could probably afford to buy a nice suit now, but I just haven't bothered. It reminds me of all the struggle that I went through and like all the women that helped me along the way. So I love it. I'm probably gonna wear it until it's like on its last threads.
When these women walk through our doors, they have access to a networking group of women, many of them just like her, who's on this journey to success, and they walk the road together. And they realize they have so much in common, much more in common than they have differences.
Enough is enough. It's time to take a stand. When those in power are giving you the runaround, breaking their promises, even accused of breaking the law, we're here to make things right. You want a team standing up for you who's bold, relentless, not willing to back down. That's who we are. This is what we stand for.
KHOU 11 News is digging for answers.
KHOU stands for Houston.
We always have societal standards, and of course parental standards of what your parents want you to do and what everybody thinks your future should look like. But this was always what I wanted to do, and when I walked in my purpose and I decided to go for it, look at me now, Houston.
Ragtime is a very syncopated dance music that for a long time had kind of a seedy reputation because it was sometimes played in the same places where maybe gambling and prostitution and drinking went on. And that's what kind of made ragtime an American craze by 1910 because people heard this music, they were familiar with a lot of the instruments, but they'd never heard the instruments played that way.
Marchione Guitars is about original design, the process of the instrument, and how even the wood is prepared. Here in my studio, I do everything from scratch. I want to build an instrument that will be around 2 centuries from now. It's been a wonderful journey, and I really love designing as much as I do building. Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh my God.
The Line Flight is the only not-for-profit hospital-based flight program in Texas.
Using some of our more advanced surgical approaches, techniques, as well as the multidisciplinary care allows us to do surgery more efficiently, effectively. But it doesn't just start with the surgery, it's all the preparation leading up to that surgery. That helps us to treat a lot more variety of patients. And then we use all these advanced technologies to even do those procedures more effectively. And that's where like robotic and navigation and guidance come in.
Good. All right, let's put her in the scanner.
We're about to scan, don't
But we should remember the acronym Be Fast. And then T is the most important thing. Time is critical. Calling 911 and calling for help is the single most important step in activating the mobile stroke unit and in getting stroke treatment. So that scan shows that you're having a stroke.
I opened a music club in Houston called the Old Quarter in 1965 with my partner, Dale Sofar. It became very popular, and it led to me meeting and playing with a lot of musicians, Townes Van Zandt and Lightning Hopkins being the #1 and #2 people I played with my whole life. It was an unbelievable time. It was right before Lightning was really popular with the white audiences, but he still had a big black following. And Lightning used to say, I don't really need to practice that much, and which is really true. I guess he was so damn good. We'd practice about 3 songs, and then we'd watch the Astros and drink Pearl beer. And somehow in that time period, he made a transition into larger, much larger venues. And it was great to be along for that beautiful musical ride.
I want to thank you for seeking justice for George, while at the same time asking people all around the world to do it respectfully and peacefully.
We honor him today because when he took his last breath, the rest of us will now be able to breathe.
We have taken the offensive as people of faith, and we are going to win this battle over evil.
Mother, mother, everybody thinks we're wrong. But who are they to judge us simply cause our skin is wrong?
Touchdown Houston, presented by Space Center Houston.
NASA's space shuttle is 122 feet long and 63 feet high to the top of the tail, with a wingspan of almost 80 feet. The NASA 905 is a bit larger, about 232 feet long, 64 feet high, and a 195-foot wingspan.
Working with farm animals can expose you to risks like H5N1, commonly known as bird flu. Avoid getting sick this flu season by wearing gloves, masks, and safety glasses, washing your hands often.
La vacuna contra la gripe es gratuita para los trabajadores agrícolas. Visita tu departamento local de salud. Protégete a ti y a tu familia. Obtén la vacuna contra la gripe hoy. Para más información, visítanos en persona o conéctate a nuestra página web.